That's great.
Ain't that great? He just heard my conversation. And then when Mr. Willie Lewis called us and we went to Georgia and he connected us with Mr. Eccles and we were looking for someone to work with Chris.
He lost her that
Yeah. Andrew, it's so good to hear from you. And so, yeah,
Did I just move in front of you?
and I'll hit you back. I got Miss Petit's number.
This seam was
She got Chris.
in my way.
Hopefully they all get it together or whatever. All right, I'll talk to you later, fella.
And and Ruby's family left her about 45 minutes ago.
We were still on the phone talking.
They left her. We're having a reunion.
Y'all get to hear all that.
Bye, Sora. Love you already.
Love you too. All right, we'll see each other.
Okay, now.
Are we recording?
Yes. I was supposed to be recording him a long time ago, but I was talking because I was an advisor to a group of students that she is close to when I worked at UAB.
Oh, okay.
So we've just called all my former students sitting here.
Oh, I knew y'all were doing something, talking to somebody.
I mean, being inappropriate, talking loudly.
I didn't know you weren't loud. I just saw you over there. Every once in a while there'd be a laugh, and I'm thinking,
Yes.
they're doing something with somebody.
Well, I keep in touch with a group of my former students, and she hadn't talked to either of them in years. So I just called them while she was sitting here. And one of them lives here, and then she called us, one of my former students that she's close to, and she's visiting Tuscaloosa right now.
Oh, okay.
So it's,
Do you live here? Where
we
do
live
you-
in Birmingham.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
We just moved our grandson place, and we just moved back from after 26 years. And I didn't know this place existed.
It's in a center. Where'd you all move back from?
Foley.
Okay, yeah.
But we left to go to Guam, and then to
Are y'all military?
Well, he's retired military. He's retired reserve. He flew, and as he said, he walked across the street in Charleston and joined the reserve after being 4 years.
Because when people say Guam, I was born in Japan.
Okay, where in Japan?
I was born at Camp Zama outside of Tokyo.
Okay,
My dad was Army.
okay.
So I was born during the Vietnam War, so it was a stopover, like
Yeah.
people, what I can't think what they call it, when people get liberty. They would come over to our base,
Yeah.
and then people that were ill and convalescing would come to our
My
base.
husband flew 141's Matterhorn.
Oh, so he probably flew to Camp Zama.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
And my mom would write the letters to to the soldiers' families or whomever. So she worked with the Red Cross and volunteered with the Red Cross.
Yeah.
When I was born, yeah.
I said, it's just, people don't understand the military, but people have a different mentality,
That's exactly right.
different ambition type thing. They stay in, really.
My dad stayed in 20 years.
Yeah.
My dad is a veterinarian,
Okay.
so he did public health
Uh-huh.
veterinary
Yeah.
work.
Okay.
Rabies. He was a rabies specialist. But also, he did food inspection.
That's needed.
Yeah. So I guess like the Army had the veterinarians. So the veterinarians served the Air Force
Yeah.
and maybe the Navy. We lived on an Air Force base before we moved to Birmingham.
What Air Force Base?
Hamilton Air Force Base in California. We were stationed at the Presidio,
Okay.
but there was no officers' housing, so we lived in Nevada, California. But my dad was in Washington this whole time. We moved because my grandmother came to get us from Manhattan, Kansas, Fort Riley, and took us to Chicago. Then my mom packed us up, moved us to California. We lived in a hotel because they didn't have any officers housing in San Francisco. They didn't have. And then my dad. We lived in a hotel for about a month, and so when we moved into the house, the Teamsters were on strike, so we didn't have any furniture. Our furniture was being held hostage by the Teamsters.
It was held hostage in a container, right?
So when people say Teamsters, I think about their strike.
Well, see, we were Eastern Airlines. So, friends, and they had a option to sue Continental. What else was it? Take the dab that they wouldn't give them for retirement, or to get 4 passes a year on Continental and a chance to be hired. This letter came and it said, from Continental, I thought, well, it's going to tell us we don't have any more passes. Well, I open it up, it says, you can go to work for Continental, you'll be based on Guam. I go home, get out my big atlas and look and see where
Where is
moving.
Guam? Because that's one of our 3 territories, the U.S. territories. Yeah. I can't remember. It's the Virgin Islands, Guam, and
Puerto Rico. See, now they're not a territory.
but there's another. Not Near East, not Far East. Another Micronesia.
Well, Micronesia, that's Saipan pulled out. See, Saipan
So Micronesia is Guam in Micronesia? So there's another. I thought there was another, but you said it pulled out. Okay.
Saipan pulled out, yeah. We met the vice president of Saipan. He had a layover there, and I went a couple of times, I guess.
I gotta move closer to it. I'm not doing my job. My son will be very.
Is the vocal on so they can hear where we're
Oh, they'll block it out.
Anyway, Saipan, but they had pulled out. They wanted the head honchos who'd come from Chicago wanted to. They had a whole lot of control for East Chicago that had moved in. That a little different.
So what size planes went back and forth from Guam to the continental United States? Or did he do all the
He
islands?
did island hoppers. He was on 727.
Because when we moved back from Japan, we went to Polynesia.
Right.
Because I asked my mom, because there's a picture of me with this. I said, why do you have a dog leash on me? And she said, have you ever traveled with 2 kids? 2 kids? From one country to the other? And your father was,
In Timbuktu.
And she's like, so don't ask any questions. Don't question my leadership.
We went to Disney World. We took grandkids. That was the big one was took them and their family for a week. Each grandchild, and there were 5 of them. So we go, and Ryan and his wife and 3 kids came and Heather had Johnson on a leash. He was 2. No,
When you got to Disney.
Oh, he could just lay on the ground and wander through and get out of the line, and you've got a hold on him and he can't go too far.
Well, we took him.
That was the best. That was I had a learning experience with that. I understood.
Well, he ended up pulling me to the ground, so I had to unleash him. Me and my college friend. I had just left my job here, and I was just free to do whatever.
Yeah.
And she said, well, come meet me in Florida. I said, okay. And I told my husband I will never travel by myself again. Well, it wasn't by myself, but we both me and my friend had
Yeah.
kids. They were on different nap schedules,
They still do.
and they didn't go to the bathroom at the same time. So because then they were potty trained.
How old were they?
One, but he was strong enough to pull me out of line on his little leash thing.
Well, his sister went when the older brother was the older brother's the first grandchild out of that set. His brother and his sister was 16 years old. That was amazing. And we had the dad and the dad we go eat one night, and you know, until she fell asleep. There was an ottoman, one of those round ottomans. Until she fell asleep on that one thing. I am thinking, I don't ever want to go to Disney World or anywhere with that age kid and mama and daddy leave. I am so sorry. Jackson came along and there were some issues, so they didn't go by themselves. And I was sort of kind of, I hated the issues, but I was sort of kind of thankful that they didn't go out and leave us. Although I think that the two older ones, he was a lot different.
Oh, he saw it.
So laid back, he has been so laid back his whole life. And just sort of whatever. He was 12 and came and stayed with us for 3.5 weeks, did not want to go home. And we finally said, he said, "We're going to church one Sunday." We said, "Okay, that'll be fine." And we would have, the whole summer, that would be fine. You know, you feel like you don't need to. So you were born in Japan.
I was born in Japan.
Yeah, well, it took, they weren't even on strike, but it took 6 weeks for our container to get to Guam from Tuscaloosa. And
If people only knew.
oh, well, my 60-hour flight from Guam to Tuscaloosa, because Northwest was threatening to strike the
Lord.
people that loaded the baggage and cleaned the airplanes. That's my Eastern went under. They couldn't, but like pilots, you can't cross a picket line.
Oh, because of the.
Yeah, you just don't cross a picket line. So here they are, not crossing because my thing is the luggage handlers and the toilet cleaners went on strike. And so Eastern went under, but we were on Guam and we'd be at they had the Hilton Continental had temporary, rooms there for people that were TDY and people that were coming in or leaving something. So we lived at the Hilton for 6 weeks. And
We were not in a hotel that night.
you weren't. Well, this was the resort.
We were in a motel.
This was the
It was a
resort, but
motel.
it was so expensive. You couldn't afford. I'd go down to get breakfast and coffee would be a fortune. And I'm a poor little old retired teacher. And,
I better
know,
watch. He keeps turning around and looking at me.
Okay. Anyway, so I'd go down and get coffee and maybe a Danish or something. That would be it. And he was flying all the time. I was there by myself.
Yes.
We had a junk car that we rented, rent-a-wreck. You know about the rent-a-wrecks, don't you?
Yep.
You get those waiting on your container with your vehicle from others.
That is crazy.
But Northwest was threatening strikes, so I flew Continental up to Northwest up there, but I knew I could not get the straight flight like you could go from Guam to Houston. There was a straight flight there. No, to Honolulu and then to Houston. And I knew I couldn't get on that. So I flew to Japan. Dakota, and then I sat in there.
Now Yokota,
That's where the airport at Tokyo. I think
Okay.
it's- Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's it. Anyway, I did not like you.
wait a minute. What is this? Okay.
We went up there.
I'm watching, son. Stop looking at
You're talking.
Because he'll say, you're talking, you missed my whole tournament. Missed my whole match. It's like I'm making friends.
How long's he been playing?
He started playing when he was 8.
Oh, one of those young. This one didn't start till the 10th.
Really? Well, he played soccer and he played basketball, but he told me that he didn't like people hitting him in the face.
Yeah.
And so because of soccer, he had the footwork.
Right. Yeah, to play. Jackson didn't play. He played baseball one year when he was like maybe 6. But that's only sport. They didn't play any sports. So, and Daddy played ball in college,
Cool.
but they didn't. But then the coach told Ryan, he said, we want him to go out for tennis. He said, he'll rest him. And he said, he's real popular and he might get some other kids to play.
Did it work?
Well, we didn't know how popular it was. That Christmas we were here, and he and his sister, we took them to eat. And
Oh, it is Taylor.
Jordan said, "Did you tell him? Have you told him?" He said, "Oh, no." Well, what'd you do? What? He was president of the 10th grade class. So last summer, I said, well, you gonna do it again this year? You gonna try for it again this year? Junior year? I don't know. Well, guess what? He was president of the junior college.
Without
So
even.
he has been, we didn't have a clue. I mean, we didn't think the world. He was sharp, he's good looking, and he's a good kid. We think. So,
Oh, good eye.
That's pretty.
Sometimes you think that the ball is going into the net,
No, and
and
it
they go
does.
and they back up, and they go. So he was in position.
yeah. I had no clue. I had to take 2 PE classes in college.
Well, because of military bases, I played all the
You
racket
played
sports,
everything.
and I played
Sure.
pool, I played ping pong, I played handball.
You played everything.
But when I got older, I didn't.
Do you know
didn't
the
play.
thing is, people don't realize what they have for people and for the families in the military. They have to keep people, and they've got to keep the kids occupied.
And went to the movies.
Yeah.
But everything that we saw at the movies was. Oh, is it over?